In this video, I want to go over how to find the equations of parallel and perpendicular lines to a particular given line through a given point. So for example, you might be given a line such as 5x plus 3y equals 0, and you're supposed to find the line parallel to that line that goes through our given point 7/8, 3/4, or you want to find the line that's perpendicular going through that point. So the first thing that we need to do is to find the slope of our given line. In order to do that, I recommend getting it into that y equals mx plus b form, because that will give you m, which represents the slope. So here I want to subtract 5x. So I have 3y equals negative 5x. I divide by 3. And so my equation is negative 5/3 x. That tells me that my slope is negative 5/3. Now I want to find the parallel line. For a parallel line, you use the same slope, and then you substitute the given point. And we'll use that point slope form. The point slope form, you take y minus the y value of the point given equals the slope x minus the x point given. So I'm looking at y minus 3/4 equals negative 5/3 x minus 7/8. Got a little bit of fractions here to deal with, but we can handle that. I need to distribute that negative 5/3 first. So I multiply, I get negative 5/3 x, and then I multiply my fraction, negative 5/3 times negative 7/8. When multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators. So negative 5/3 times negative 7/8 is going to give us positive 35/24. Then I need to add my 3/4. And in order to add fractions, they need to have the same denominator. So I'm going to get a common denominator of 24. And so 3/4 is the same thing as 18/24. I get that because if I multiply 4 times 6, I get 24. And then I also need to multiply my numerator 3 times 6. So really what I'm adding here is 35/24 plus 18/24, and that is going to give me 53/24. So you'll get some crazy fractions on this one, but when you're done, you will have y equals, and then you'll have your slope piece, which in this case was negative 5/3 x, plus 53/24. Now I want to get my perpendicular line. So it's essentially the same thing, but in our last, when we had the parallel line, the slope was negative 5/3. And now I need the perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So I'm going to do the opposite sign, so it'll now be positive, and then I do the reciprocal. I flip it over. So this perpendicular slope is positive 3/5. But then I do the same thing. I know now that my slope will be 3/5, and I'm still going through that point 7/8, 3/4. And in this case, I use that point slope form again. Y minus 3/4 equals my perpendicular slope 3/5, x minus 7/8. And then I do have to distribute. So 3/5 times x is 3/5 x. 3/5 times negative 7/8. I multiply my numerator, I multiply my denominator, and so we get negative, or subtract, 21/40. Now I need to add my 3/4 so that I have this in slope-intercept form. And again, to add, I need to have a common denominator. So I'm going to turn my 3/4 into 30/40. I can multiply by 10/10 here. 3/4 is equivalent to 30/40. And now I can add, I have negative 21/40 plus 30/40, And here I just add my numerators, and that gives me a positive 9 over 40. So my final answer is y equals 3/5 x plus 9 over 40.